Okay, hello, my name's Celeste, and I have wrote a story. It's called Eternity, and I suppose my friend Andres has co-written it, but all he's actually done is read it and gave me some ideas, but I'll say he co-wrote it. Anyway, I said I would give a snippet, so I'm going to read chapter 1 of Eternity. I have no title for chapter 1. So, I was just about to get out of my beautiful Toro Red Vanquish when I realized I didn't have a sweater on. Big mistake for me. If you have a normal level of curiosity, you'll probably be wondering why I have to wear a sweater in public, especially when I was about to get ambushed by my friends at school. In other words, every single day. Why, you must be asking by now? Well, today I only put 1 sugar in his coffee instead of 2, and he lost it. Yes, my father. He hits me. My mother's gone, left when I was 7. Don't blame her really, but since then, Dad's anger has been focused on me. Whoa. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me introduce myself. I'm Marco Benito. I'm 17 and I live in a small town, overcast but beautiful. It's called Erin in Ontario, Canada. I've all my life, and I will until college. I am the so-called popular guy of Erin Public High School. So, back to my day. After I remembered what I wasn't wearing, I looked on the passenger seat where there was, of course, a black sweater. I pulled it on as I stepped out of my car, only to duck my head back in and get the book bag that was also on the passenger seat. As hard as I tried to lay low after that, Marco. Yo, what's up, dog? I sighed as about 5 people basically latched onto my arms. I pulled my sweater sleeves down over my wrists. It had become a habit. I didn't want anybody to figure out what my dad did. The bell rang, and I internally cheered as I half walked, half ran to my Spanish class. As I walked in, I remembered the Spanish project we were starting today. I would, as usual, be the only one without a partner, just like I liked it. But to my surprise, when I got to my table, there were 2 chairs set out and a binder laying on the table in front of one of them. New student? Probably. I sat down anyway. Mr. Turner walked in from his office, which was attached to the side of the classroom. He didn't really speak Spanish, so it was an easy class to pass. "Attention," he said in his best authoritative voice, which wasn't very authoritative. Mr. Turner was just too nice and easygoing. "We have a new student in our class today. Class, this is Becca Jaden. She came from Italy." He motioned to the girl standing meekly behind Mr. Turner's desk with her shoulders hunched. She was, no doubt, the most beautiful girl I had ever seen. She had short, dirty blonde hair that went just past her shoulders. Her features were unathletic, but her eyes were intriguing, strange. They were round and colored a strange purplish brown, and she had bruise-like shadows under her eyes. The last thing was she was so pale. It wasn't even funny. She looked ghostly. I snapped out of my staring to see Mr. Turner standing beside me. "You don't have a problem with her sitting beside you, do you?" he whispered. I shook my head, both clearing my head and signifying no. "Good," he said, and went over to Becca. Mr. Turner was whispering, so I didn't exactly hear what but he gestured towards now our table. She seemed to glide over to her seat. "Hi," she said. No, she couldn't have said that. Her voice was too angelic to come from a human person of the same species as my own. Her voice was as sweet as honey, smooth as silk, beautiful as falling rain. While I was fantasizing, she continued, "My name is Becca, but you already know that," she said as she flashed a brilliant smile, and I struggled to stay focused on her words. "But I don't know your name. What is it?" I gave her what I hoped was a welcoming smile, and said, "Well, I'm Marco Bonthio, if you want to get formal. Welcome to the town of Urin, which will become the overcast yet beautiful and isolated village of Doom." I widened my smile, hoping I didn't look like a maniac. She smiled back, so I assumed I didn't. Mr. Turner clapped his hands, twice and loudly. He began to talk. "Your groups consist of the people you're sitting with right now." At those words, there was murmurs of excitement and groans of longing, and I was, for some reason, very happy about the fact I was with Becca, and Becca only. Why was I thinking like this? The class went by quickly, with Mr. Turner droning on about the guidelines to the project. Somehow, I managed to listen while watching Becca out of the corner of my eye. The bell rang, and everybody scurried out of the class. I was about to leave when I felt a tap on my shoulder. "Hi again," Becca said brightly. I smiled back. I couldn't help it. Her smile was contagious, as well as beautiful. "Hi. What do you have next?" "English," I answered immediately without even thinking about it. She sighed in relief. "Oh, good. Could you show me to the classroom?" "If it isn't too much trouble, that is," she hastily tacked onto the end. I was surprised at the casualness I mustered up when I said, "Sure." I pulled down my sleeves again, and I took my first step to the Greens building, where almost all the normal classrooms were. As I did, her eyes looked suspiciously at my arms, as if she suspected I was hiding every single bruise, every single scar that I was. We ended up in class just in time, and once again, I found a new desk beside mine. In the back of the class, of course. I smiled brightly as I walked past the people with their mouths dropped open and their eyes widened. Usually I wasn't this happy, I suppose. Well, actually, there was no I suppose about it. I was the person in the class, everyone's eyes filled with concern for them. When they saw them staring straight forward, focusing on nothing, waiting for the lesson to begin, then taking steady notes. I was the person that never wanted to talk or smile, and considering my friends, that's a bit ironic. My friends, that's a bit ironic. The class went by the same as Spanish did. Miss Brandy droning. I use this word for lack of a word describing a rather boring way of giving a lecture on Wuthering Heights. This time I didn't listen at all. I only thought of Becca. After what seemed to be hours, the bell rang for lunch. She stood up gracefully and looked at me. "Sit with me and my brothers at lunch?" I smiled and nodded, and then we headed to the cafeteria. That isn't all of chapter 1, but I'm getting to 9 minutes, so I'm gonna just shut up. If you want more, email me. And if you like it, please tell me. I love it. I love it. You know, it's my first book. I love it.